So, how are you, Karen, today?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good. Good to be here with you all. Nice to see you all again. How are you?
Yes, exactly. It's good to be here. It was a little bit of a longer break for 3 weeks, I think, since the last time we were alive. And here we are, and the countdown is on.
I
Has
know.
been- Yes, it is.
I can't believe it. I can feel the pressure already.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I don't
interesting.
actually, we discussed this, you and I, after the last one. It's like, what would be the topic for this one? And at first, we were both like, we don't want to talk about the countdown.
I
But then
know.
again, it's like, why would you avoid it? Because here
We're
we are.
all here. We all are. Do you know what I find interesting is before we even get to the countdown, my emails have just been absolutely full this last week with like what is it, Black Friday, and then it's something or other Monday, and now it's Giving Tuesday, and now it's like every other day there's like 20 or so emails dropping in trying to sell me more stuff or get me to do more stuff. It's just crazy
Exactly.
pressure. Yeah, it's
Same
really
here.
blocking at my inbox. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the message from a lot of people that I've been in touch with is also like, look, no, like it's like being in this kind of fog, and it keeps
Mm,
repeating year after year. Is like, oh my goodness, I can't do anything because this is the end of the year and I have to get all these
yes.
things done, and it's just so busy, busy, busy. And it's like, okay, I get it. Of course, me too. I have two kids, and there's tons of things going on. There's
Mm,
Christmas here and that there, and uh, whatever. Everything's going on. However, I think whether we get stressed by it or not is up to us.
yes, exactly. Yeah. And also, it's a really good time. I learned this just this week, so I might not have it quite right, but it's a really good time in autumn to do reflection and planning and sort of tidying up, finishing off things and tidying up things ready for, when we start to recuperate during the winter months. So if you feel the energy for it, it's a great time now to do reflection and planning, but not everyone's going to feel that energy. Some people are, you know, closing down for Christmas already or,
Yeah. But
struggling
what
through
I
it.
like, actually, I just, I don't know, just today I posted about exactly this, that, or was it yesterday? Anyway, this week I posted something also like it's up to us as ourselves, whether you're a business leader and you feel like, okay, it's the end of the fiscal year and you
Hmm.
gotta get this and this and this done and this budget's here and there, and then the project's finished, and it's like the end of the world is coming.
Yeah.
And the end of the world comes every year like
Yeah.
that,
At
if
the
you
same
allow
time.
it to come.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a matter of, first of all, coming to yourself and be like, look, it's my choice to get sucked in and feel really stressed and burn out, and then like completely shut down everything. And then
Mhm.
as January comes, the 1st of January, and you're like, oh, then you have to start your engine from like below freezing.
Yes, yes. Full of stress and pressure. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, so how you finish the year? Oh, this is what I posted today. Exactly. How you finish the year is how you begin the new year. It's
Yes.
just another day, right?
Yeah, you're right. So how do we get through these countdowns then? The pressure of all this counting down that happens around us.
Mm,
I think being aware of it is the starting point, as always for me. It's about recognizing that it's coming, recognizing that here's another email, here's another deadline, here's another time scale, but you've got the choice to decide whether that makes its way into your agenda or not. So you can decide, just to ignore those emails, ignore those pressures and times, or respond resourcefully to them, from
mm.
your own, check in with yourself. Is that right for me? Is it helpful for me? Is it something that I can just let go? Or is it something that I want that's going to, support me going forward? And then choose which ones make sense for you.
Exactly. And even if it's like, sometimes it feels like, well, every one of these things I'm always thinking of when I was working as a credit manager, and it's a lot to do with the numbers and finance, and year
Mm,
end is always a big thing because you got to get things done. However, there are tasks that either You can delegate. There are tasks that are more important now that you can schedule your time to be able to calm down. Like
Mm-hmm.
take things one thing at a time, because what I also learned is that if you are multitasking and trying to do 10 tasks or even 2 tasks at a time, it splits.
Yeah.
You cannot be so focused, and you will be more prone to making mistakes or
Yes.
overseeing something or getting snappy with people or yourself if
Mm-hmm.
that happens. So just one thing after the other, and being like, also, well, what of all these things, first of all, do I not need to do right now?
Yes.
What could someone else maybe do who could be maybe even more or better suited for doing that task?
Mm-hmm.
And then what is like my absolute priority today, right now? So my one thing today that I need to get done, and the
Yeah.
one thing tomorrow, and be really consistent with that, instead of getting into that chaotic state of mind. And then what ends up happening is you blame the circumstances.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. But what would you say it would be a one way to kind of just, in any situation, just like if you are aware and you're like, oh my gosh, now it's just going way beyond, I need to just slow down, I need to do something that will help me
Mm.
right now, what would you do?
Well, well, there's lots of things I would suggest, but the one that I think I use most often is come back to your breathing, because that's where it
Hmm.
all starts, right? So when you can start to feel your shoulders hunching up and your body tensing, you're going into that stress response, that fight, flight, or freeze response. So it's really good to try and come back to focusing on your breath to bring you back into the opposite part of the autonomic immune system, which is responsible for calm and digestion and rest. Um,
Hmm.
so I do box breathing a lot. That's what I teach a lot of my clients, because they find it really easy to understand. It's easy to remember when you're feeling really
Hmm.
stressed. And you just think of the breath like a box. So we've got 4 parts of our breathing: the breathing in, the pause after the in breath, the breathing out, and the pause after the out breath. And we often don't notice those pauses because we breathe in a really fast and shallow way these days. So when we start to slow down our breathing using one of these practices, it's more obvious that you've got those 4 parts of the breath. So in box breathing, we consciously lengthen each part of the breath for the whole and hold it for a count of 4. So we breathe in
Hmm.
to the count of 4, we hold for the count of 4, we breathe out to the count of 4, and then we hold for the count of 4, and then we start the cycle again. Do you want to try it?
Yeah, let's try that.
All
Let's
right
do
then.
a couple
So
rounds.
just get yourself into a comfortable position, and then I'll count us through it. If 4 feels uncomfortable for you because you're not used to that length of breath, you can use 3 or 2. But let's try 4 and see how you get on. Okay, so breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Pausing, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. And pausing, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Pausing, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. And pausing, 2, 3, 4. And then just coming back to your normal breathing practice.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, it's what I find most disappointing when I'm guiding it. I can't breathe at the same time, but I trust that you
Yeah,
found
it's
that
hard,
manageable.
right?
Yeah. um, just doing it 3 or 4 cycles of that breathing practice can really help put yourself back into that more restful, calming state for your nervous system. So it switches you out of the fight and flight freeze response. So whenever you feel yourself getting into that, however that affects you. So for me, it's always shoulders and tightness, but some people, they feel their
Mhm.
heart racing. Some people just feel really sort of, you know, edgy and sort of fidgety. Some people just find their heat in their face, whatever it is. Some people freeze, whatever it is for you. When you recognize that in yourself, just do some of that breathing for 3 or 4 rounds can really help,
Yeah.
restore your system to a state of balance.
Imagine, I'm just thinking of like companies where employees, they come in the morning, or even if you're working virtually and you have your first meeting of the day, and or even in the afternoon you come in, and what if every meeting, for example, started with 4 rounds of box breathing?
Yeah, brilliant. So, and that's one of the things I teach my clients actually. So, although
Mhm.
I teach it as a moment to arrive. So we have 1 minute of silence where we just focus on our breathing, and just watch the physical sensations of breathing in our bodies for 1 minute. And it's fascinating. So it's at the start of every meeting. And what's fascinating is oftentimes people say to me, oh, that's the first minute to myself I've had all day. That's the first
Mhm.
minute of quiet, or the first minute of peace, or the first minute when I've not like been panicking about all those things whirring along in my head. And other times people say, I can't believe how much distraction's going on in my mind, because we're just so used to it that we don't even notice it anymore. So when we stop to pause, even just for a minute, we can start to see how busy it is up there, and how unhelpful that can be if we're trying to have a focused day at work when we've just got so many distractions going on in our mind. So it's a really powerful exercise. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for guiding that us
Very
through.
well.
I've done that several times in my breathing life. Sorry, not just breathing life. I've been breathing all my life. Yeah.
Yes, I hope so.
But but yeah, and it's funny how even I talk about it, and then sometimes I forget too.
Yes, yeah. So what's really good is to practice these breathing techniques when things are calm, and perhaps before you go to bed at night or before you eat a meal, so your body gets more used to them, so that when the stress triggers, it's more natural for your body to slip into that 4 4 4 4 practice. Whereas if you try it the very first time at your most stressed, it's going to take longer than a couple of cycles. So the more you can practice it when you're calm, the more reliably it is there and more accessible it is for you when you're starting to feel the pressure. And here's
Exactly.
the other thing that it's a little bit different to breathing, but the other thing that I really suggest people do when they're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, or anxious, that sort of high nervous energy, is just to do some shaking.
Hmm.
So, like athletes before they take part in their activity, they often sort of stand and they jump about or they shake. So if you literally just shake all of your arms, you can even like bounce into your heels and just shake your whole body. It's a really good way of just removing stress and tension from your body. Any of that excess, when with the stress response, we send a lot of excess hormones around our body to help us power us up to fight off the threat. And so we like adrenaline and cortisol. So you can actually just shake that away. So if you
Hmm.
just stand, it looks a bit ridiculous, but if you just stand and shake, a lot of that nervous, stressful energy can just leave your system very quickly, which then leaves you set up to use your energy in a much more productive way going forward.
Yeah, and I use that as well, actually, for myself and for everyone that I guide, also to change your energy.
Yes,
So if
yes.
you notice, okay, something's off, or I just don't like where I am in my mind, in my
Mm-hmm.
thoughts right now, move. Move in
Yes,
a way that you haven't moved right now before.
yeah,
Like, even I use that with dancers too, who move all the time, but they move
yes,
in a particular way. But if
yeah,
you make a movement that's outside of your normal movement, it will
mm,
change your energy.
yeah,
And the best thing about it, if you really are, brave and courageous and all this, and you do it, you can start laughing. And if you have other people around you, they will start laughing, and
yes.
that releases a lot of positive energy anyway. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So fun, isn't it? All these things we can do with our bodies and our breathing to have a real impact on us. And why we don't teach these things when we're young, when we're at school, we learn all these other intellectual things, but we don't learn how to use our body to help us be more resourceful as we go through life. And it's always there. We've always got, we always have our bodies available and our breathing available to support us. So it's great that we can start to learn to use them to our best outcomes, really.
exactly. Yes. Thank you so much. Today has been like full of a lot of very good, positive tools to be used,
Exactly.
especially now that the countdown is on, whether
Yeah,
you are taking part in the countdown or not, but you know, it's coming, the year end, the year beginning,
yeah,
and that's just the reality, right? So
exactly. just do what you can to get through it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Embrace it.
and keep in mind on your own self. So instead of
Yes.
externalizing things, about how you feel or think or how stressed you are, take that responsibility to yourself about yourself, and that's all you can do. Like, you're not
Hmm.
responsible for on any of your coworkers, your employees, your whatever. Just
Hmm.
you,
Just
and
you.
do that.
Yeah. Perfect.
Well, thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you. It's been great to have a chat again today.
Yeah, and we will probably do one before Christmas still.
Yeah. Squeeze one in.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I'll be wearing, like, I don't know if I can find
Yes.
my
Christmas
red.
jumpers.
No, I don't have one, but
Mhm.
I decided, okay, no. Um, but I could have like a hat on,
Yeah. Some
Yeah,
antlers. Yeah.
yeah,
Sure, we'll find
exactly.
something.
We'll do something.
Yeah.
So, thank you everyone who is watching here or in the replay, and please let us know in the comments of your own, if you have something to add or if you have questions, write it in the comments, because we're here and we continue this conversation in the comments. So
For
thanks so
sure.
much, and see you very soon.
See you soon, everyone. Bye.